Hello everyone, my name is Jason, aka Bacon Chest, coach of the St Kilda Serperiors, and welcome to the GBA Fan Draft League draft analysis video. So, this is going to be a tournament similar to the Brawl for All that we played in previously, with 16 conferences of 10 teams being split into pools of 5 who will play 4 pool games each, for the top 2 teams from each pool move through into the knockout stages. The draft format for this was an 8-mon draft with the GBA ban list, so things like Lele, Ash Greninja, Mega Ladies were all gone, and 2 Z captains being selected. I'm in the Vegemite conference if you're looking to follow along on the GBA Discord, which is, really good because hopefully I'll be able to play in my time zone at reasonable hours of the day for most of my games, at least for the pool stages. Hopefully we'll make it through the knockouts, and then we might have to do some funky things at weird times of the day. But anyway, so let's get into the team that I drafted. You can see it on the screen there. We've got Landorus T, Skarmory, Weavile, Salamence, Thundurus, Tentacruel, Mega Gardevoir, and Marowak. Alolan Marowak, which is important. So with this draft, I had second pick overall, decided to pick up Landorus T, because I wanted a really versatile mon. I wanted a mon that was a decent Z user, so I didn't necessarily have to worry about drafting one later on. And I wanted something, with reasonable speed, reasonable power, fair bit of versatility. I wanted to get some hazards early on. So yeah, picked up Landorus T with pick 2. Could have gone Celesteela, but I just drafted it in a league, which I'm not actually uploading at the moment. I might end up uploading it, just because the first game was quite good. But, yeah, at the moment we're not uploading that league, but, yeah, so I'm already using Celesteela, so decided to go for Landorus T. Super fun mon. I've been enjoying it in the PBL. I thought that it was a reasonable mon to build around, really easy kind of mon to slap on a team. Next, I decided to pick up Skarmory. Tanks a lot of the ice-type attacks, especially physical ice-type attacks from things like Mamoswine, that Landorus T just doesn't want to. And with the Intimidate, is going to tank most hits. If it's switching into something that has been in on Landorus, gives me access to hazards in the forms of Spikes and Stealth Rock, gives me access to Defog as well. And then I'm not going to go through each mon individually like that, but I just wanted to, that was sort of the core that I wanted to build around was those 2. So then what we decided to do was pick up, I wanted to pick up some special bulk as well, and I wanted to pick up some real good, fast hyper offense. I really wanted, a big offensive team with just a few pivots, and so that's what you can see we've kind of, aimed to pick up here. So we've got Weavile, Salamence, Thundurus were our next 3 picks, and those 3 provide us with Weavile with that 125 base speed, Salamence and Thundurus give us really good setup options in the form of D-Dance and Nasty Plot respectively. Thundurus gives us speed control in the form of Prankster, T-Wave, and all 3 of them have really good coverage. Salamence and Thundurus can both go physical or special, so that gives me really good mind games over my opponents. I decided to go with Weavile and Salamence as my Z-Mon. Salamence so that it can break through some of its would-be checks or counters, and Weavile because given that it's faster and often forces switches, I can potentially Swords Dance, and then whatever checks my opponent thought they had are going to get blown back to next week. With the appropriate Z move, or even just with my stab, Icicle Crash, or Knockoff. Yeah, so I thought, well, I'm never really going to run a Choice Scarf on Weavile, so having it as a Z-Mon, potentially a good option. Gives it a better way of breaking through a few Steel types and Fairy types with things like Z Poison Jab and Z Brick Break. But yeah, so those 3 gave us really good speed, really good offense, and a lot of power. What did I see after that? Having drafted a couple of really physically bulky mons and some really offensive mons, I now needed a bit more special bulk. What we also needed was some bulk beam switch-ins. Particularly Ice, at the moment, was just a huge issue with, Weavile is not an Ice Resist, at least not a real Ice Resist. So we decided to pick up Tentacruel, gives us another form of hazard removal, particularly since we can Spike Stack, we don't necessarily want to be defogging all the time, so Rapid Spin is quite useful. Good reasonable coverage, and also, crucially, another mon with a good speed tier. And you can see that, like, pretty much, like, you know, we've only got 3 mons under base 100, we've only got 1 mon under 70, and 2 mons under 90, so, like, it's a very fast team all round, and that's quite good because, you know, it like forces opponents to run a lot of speed, it forces them to potentially run Scarfers, which means they can't hit as hard, which, given that we don't have like really dedicated walls, aside from maybe like Skarmory, we mostly have like real like, you know, decent pivots in the board, like Lando, Tentacruel, and our next mon, Mega Gardevoir, who is back again after we had a fair bit of success with Mega Gardevoir in the Brawl, albeit with an unfortunate ending, but I did initially not want to take Mega Gardevoir. I was going to take a different... I can't actually remember which Mega I was going to take, but I wanted either Tapu Fini or Primarina, but they both went in the same round. So I was left forced to take Tentacruel. I'm actually pretty happy with that in the end. But yeah, so then I took Mega Gardevoir, and for my last one I selected Alola Marowak. I was originally going to select a more offensive fire type. I was just going for like straight hyper offense with Darmanitan or Entei, something like that. Because I did want another form of priority outside of Weavile. But I looked at some of my opponent's squads as they were building up, and saw a lot of fast electric types that I didn't really have a switch in for. So things like Tapu Koko, things like Mega Manectric, you know, things like opposing Thundurus or Thundurus T, were going to pose huge issues to this team. And so we decided to go for Alola Marowak. I just forgot about the existence for Alola Marowak for a little while. And so I was really annoyed when I first realized this electric weakness, because I thought I was going to have to take a grass type, just to have a resist. And that wouldn't necessarily be great as well, right, because it's still, like, Ice Beam weak. But I was thinking of something like Celebi, but in the end, we picked up Alola Marowak, and I'm really happy with this pick, because it gives me 3 things. It gives me, 1, a Trick Room response, because it is so slow, which is nice, because the rest of our team is quite fast, so some people may want to run Trick Room against us. 2, gives us a form of, a source of rocks, that isn't Lando, T, or Skarmory, so that frees up Lando's T, potentially frees up Skarmory as well, to run things like, you know, Toxic, or Iron Head, or Brave Bird, or something like that. And then its typing gives me a Spin Blocker, which is great given we can Hazard Stack with Tentacruel, Skarmory, Landorus. So it gives me a Spin Blocker, it gives me a Bolt Beam switch in, it gives me a Fire type, so Fire type Stab being really, really useful for breaking through kind of Steel types who might want to wall Salamence or Lando, particularly. Lando obviously not necessarily walled by grounded Steel types, but maybe opposing Skarmory or Celesteela. So yeah, really powerful, physically offensive attacker, switches in really well to things. And yeah, so that's the team overall. I hope that you've enjoyed this draft analysis, and I'll be bringing you guys the pool games for this tournament as soon as I have played them. So I will see you all next time.